All right, joining us on the show is Dr. Smita Naram, who's the founder and CMD of Ayush Shakti, and Dr. Zankhana Booch as well, who is the Chief Medical Superintendent of Ayurveda Hospitals. Let's begin. First, let's go over to Dr. Smita Naram. First up, welcome to the show. Thanks so much and for giving us your time today. We have heard so often that you are what you eat. The whole concept of having breakfast like a king, lunch like a millionaire, and dinner like a pauper. But it is so important to note that while you're doing that, you know what you're consuming as well. Most people don't. And Ayurveda definitely is no stranger to that concept. You mentioned to me a fantastic revelation as to how the ancient scriptures have thousands and thousands of years ago stressed on amas, the toxins, and what better time than now to recognize the importance of it to build our body's immunity by avoiding food toxicity. Let's get you to explain that ancient wisdom to our viewers.
Chaiti, this is so fascinating, and I am so excited and proud about our ancient 5,000 years old science. Just in few years, the modern science has found that there are amyloid toxins which are wherever they get accumulated, they create problems. If they get accumulated in pancreas, creates diabetes. Later on, if they get into liver, fatty liver, if they get into the kidneys, kidney problems, or heart problems, or Alzheimer's, and so on and so forth. And these amyloid toxins are actually described as they are very sticky, they are frothy, stinky, sometimes darkish, very, very darkish looking, mucousy toxins. And they, wherever they go, they just settle there and stick there. And this is exactly what Ayurveda has spoken about ama. Ayurveda says that these ama toxins are those toxins which are produced because we don't digest the food very well. Sometimes we don't metabolize what we have digested very well. It doesn't assimilate into the tissues and finally the immune system. And that remains like a half-processed mass in the form of ama toxins. And wherever it goes, it creates problems and blockages and disease. So that was fascinating. And so the three things which are very important at this time, especially if you want to stay healthy and keep your immune system active and alert, it has to be very active and alert and has to reach where it has to reach in terms of its antibodies and fight the infection as soon as possible. For this reason, first eat as per who you are. So first who you are, and then what you have to eat or your lifestyle should be. Secondly, detox and nourish. And third, eat everything that you can digest so that it doesn't produce ama. That's it, simple. So first thing, if you are pitta, then there are few symptoms that you can feel on and off. Acidity, headaches, sometimes acne on the skin, anger quite often, no patience, anxiety. These are like skin problems. These are the symptoms for pitta. And that time, at least stay away from, if you feel this, then stay away from fermented, sour and spices like chili especially. And in the home remedy, every day you can drink this herbal tea with cumin 1 teaspoon, coriander 1 teaspoon, fennel 1 teaspoon in a cup of water, boil it and add a teaspoonful of ghee and drink this tea. If you are vata, which is the second one, so vata is for air. If you are vata, you feel always no confidence, fear, wavery mind, depression sometimes, not feeling good sleep, and no confidence, all of these things are there. With that, on and off, stiffness, pain in your body or gases sometimes. So that time, it is important that you stay away from food which is raw. Like we just jump on taking raw food because we think it is great for our health. But if you are vata, you can't process. It will only make gases. So stay away from raw food and beans, heavy beans, etc. And drink this herbal tea every night, which has half a teaspoon of ginger powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander, boil it with a glass of water, and you can add a teaspoonful of castor oil if you have a difficulty falling asleep or pain or stiffness in your body. This is a fantastic tea. Then the third thing is kapha. If you have kapha excess, kapha is growth. So you can have tendency to have cysts nodules in the body, lumps, fibroids, etc., growth things in the body, or you can gain weight easily, or you can have a lot of mucus, respiratory mucus quite often, or in the morning you have to clear the nose, etc. And also your mind is confused and slightly rigid because kapha doesn't change mind easily. So in that situation, you have to drink this herbal tea regularly. Basil's 10, some ginger, 1 inch, one peppercorn, a cinnamon, just crush it. Add a glass of water and boil and add honey. And you can drink this 1 or 2 times a day. You will feel cleared nose and also cleared mind. So that's how who you are and what you have to eat. And if you are kapha, don't stay away from definitely wheat, dairy and red meat because that produces mucus.
Right. So that's so interesting because you spoke to us about detox, and at this point of time it's very important for our viewers as well to detox, identify what your doshas are and eat according to your dosha, so your body immune and defense system is built from within, because most of your medicines, as Ayurvedic doctors like you always say, is lying in your kitchen, and that's a very informative bit that you've given for our viewers. Our viewers can use that and start daily. In fact, let's get Dr. Zankhana Buch in as well. She's the Chief Medical Superintendent of Ayurveda Hospitals. Dr. Zankhana, what is healthy eating according to you and according to Ayurveda? What do the principles of cooking really look like when you go into the kitchen and start cooking? What should be mixed with what? What should not rather be mixed with what that turns toxic for the body? If you can give our viewers some tips, a few handy do's and don'ts, if you can elaborate for our viewers, the incompatibles more importantly, because that's something that many people make the mistake of, mix food items which are incompatible, and that is what creates this dosha imbalance, and your body's immune system goes for a toss. And in a time like this, when the world is fighting COVID-19, this becomes more important than ever before.
Yes, Chaiti. So let's begin with healthy eating. So Ayurveda defines healthy eating as something which is in moderate quantities as well as which is wholesome. It talks about two beautiful words, mitahar and hitahar. These two combinations look into the quantity and quality of food. So healthy eating looks into the proportions, eating according to seasons, eating according to one's own health and disease. And it looks into the doshas, one's own constitution to which one belongs to. It looks into the categories of food. Foods are also of different types as the 3 gunas based on the 3 doshas that have been mentioned. So healthy eating comprises all these things: quantity, quality. And coming to the point of incompatible foods, Chaiti, so poor combining of food leads to toxemia, and when it is prolonged, leads to gas, indigestion, allergies, and various skin conditions. So for example, if we say bananas and melons, banana and milk, so banana is sour, milk is sweet. Normally we see people taking fruit shakes, milk shakes, which is supposed to be very unhealthy according to the principles. Melons and milk, for example, milk is laxative, melons are diuretic. When both of them are combined, it curdles inside the stomach and leads to toxemia. So it is very important in this time of pandemic to stick to a routine. We find that a routine which is very healthy, to which one we are used to. We should not experiment too much during this time of pandemic, because it is important that not with the current infection, but we might end up with having secondary infections, and we may have to go to a hospital or visit a doctor. So unavoidable, or we can avoid these secondary infections which are there. So current pandemic definitely wants us to look into what we choose. It says that we should avoid cold food items, cold drinks, aerated drinks. We must have food which is warm and freshly cooked. One must limit alcohol consumption. Look into the intake of sugar and salt that gets into the body. And it is important that timings of meals are maintained. And looking into the cooking of food, it looks into the type of food that we choose, the vessels that we cook, and intelligent use of spices, we can change the quality of any given food by right seasoning, by right tempering, in a right cooking method. Something which is deep fried, if versus that, if it is chosen to be roasted, grilled, or boiled, it completely changes the property of food. So, cooking food is very important. Coming to the do's and don'ts during this pandemic, Chaiti, I would clearly say that eat only when one perceives hunger. Do not overeat. Avoid taking bath immediately after. Eat according to seasons. Maintain an adequate intake of fluids. Not overdo. Completely avoid emotional and binge eating. Include very healthy Ayurveda foods like rice, green moong, honey, ghee, and amlaki. These are supposed to be daily food items that should be chosen. And one must also, while cooking, keep a very important point of choosing the right utensils. Yes, Chaiti.
Right. Let's reestablish that connection right there. There's some issue with the audio. I'm requesting the producers to repatch Dr. Butch right there. But Dr. Smita Naram, what is essentially the point of how to keep the house clean? You know, when we were talking offline, you were talking to me about how your body is a house where you live in, and the body in the house analogy that you were explaining to me offline, and how the body needs to remain clean, just like the way the house needs to remain clean. Also, a few one-size-fits-all recipes, regardless of what doshas our viewers fall into, that you have come up with to stay healthy during this time of coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah. So basically, I always tell people that our body is a house of our soul. So like our house, if the house is made up of glasses everywhere, and if the people throw stones and the rocks on the glasses, it will break. But if it is very solid, profound, it's made with solid walls, it will not break so easily. In the same manner, we have to eat everything which nourishes our tissues and immune system on a daily basis, so that our house is rock solid strong. At the same time, it has to be clean, because in the house, if there are dirts which are lying for days and days, it will decay, and there will be cobwebs produced. Maybe the spirals will come, or different spiders or some other insects will come, and it will only putrefy. The same way, we have to keep our body clean regularly. So for this reason, I would recommend that every month, 3 or 4 or 5 days a month, just eat only moong and vegetables. Just moong and vegetables for 3 or 5 days every month will help always to keep your body clean. The second thing, that we always eat a lot of wheat, and wheat is ama producing.
So this moong and vegetable that you're talking about, anybody can do it to detox?
Absolutely, it is so fantastic. And the symptoms of toxins piled up are like tongue coated white. Then you feel heavy immediately after you eat food, and you have to drink coffee to stay active. Or in the morning when you pass the stool, it is so heavy that it straight away sinks in the toilet instead of floating. So these are, or sometimes there are inflammations in the body and swelling in the shin bone or different parts of the body. When you wake up, there is the face is swollen and bloated looking. These are signs of toxins. Tummy bloated always, and these are signs of toxins. If you feel this, trust me, you have to do 3 to 5 days every month, just moong and vegetable soup, because that's something that pulls out those toxins from deep level. And once you cleanse with this, when you see these signs, then you know you don't get disease in your body. And also it is important that when you are exposed to any infection, okay, any virus, bacteria, anything, your body creates antibodies, fighters. But fighters have to reach there to fight the viruses. If the toxins are there, it will not reach. So that's why detox. The second thing, every day eat something that is not producing ama. You know, in the former times, we used to eat wheat because we were working in the farm and we were walking and everything. But now we are sitting in the office, hardly exercise. So wheat is very difficult to digest. It produces toxic mucus ama. I always say 80-20 rules. You follow, change 20% of your diet, 80% health is achieved. So change your rotis to this mixed grain roti, not outside mixed grain atta. Make your own atta with ragi, jwari and besan. Okay. And if you can't form the atta, you can add a little bit wheat, maybe 20% instead of besan. But otherwise, you make atta with the hot water and that roti comes out very soft. Now, the thing is that these grains have such minerals which are nourishing immune system. So every day you have to nourish immune system. Don't just go on popping up pills because sometimes they don't even get absorbed when they are artificially made. Get your minerals from your own diet. So that's what I recommend. And I wanted to actually recommend a breakfast recipe whenever you want me to do that.
Yeah, I'll just come back to you on that breakfast recipe as well, Dr. Naram. But Zankhana Butch is back with us, Doctor. Doctor, what kind of food should be avoided during this pandemic? And what should an ideal breakfast, lunch, dinner consist of? And you were talking about the utensils that play a very important role when you got cut off earlier with us as well. If you could just continue telling us more about this. Very interestingly, what I picked up from what Dr. Smita Naram was saying is that even though you take all these vitamins and many other supplements, if your body's digestion is weak, and it cannot absorb, what's the point really of taking it? And to be able to do that, detoxing and eating right in the Ayurvedic manner will enable the body to absorb even the supplements that you take, isn't it?
Absolutely, Chaiti. So going to the point that what should be avoided and what should be eaten during this time of pandemic. So if you look at across India, the various seasons, the transition of season that we are going into, it is very important that we keep in mind that a weather which is in Delhi, like it has rained heavily in Bangalore. So choice of food items absolutely should be according to the season at the prevalent place. But considering the clinical manifestations of the disease, definitely cold food items, something which causes excessive kapha and vayu in the body should be avoided. Leftovers, processed foods, difficult to digest food should not be taken. One should minimize the use of curd at night and aerated drinks, as I told in beginning. So this is very important that one understands the season which is
and the utensils. Which utensils should be used and which should be avoided while cooking healthy, Doctor?
Yes. So while cooking, it is important that the substance in which it is used is as natural as possible. Avoid plastics, anodized and non-stick items, etc., which leach toxins. Choose very natural things like wood, glass, ceramic, or stainless steel, which is safest and does not create any reactions to the food that is cooked.
Absolutely. So these are the safe utensils that you can use as well. Dr. Naram, your closing thoughts on how to nourish our tissues and immune system every day through that one power-packed smoothie recipe in the morning for the morning breakfast that you have designed. All of us want to know it because even we want to start it every day from tomorrow onwards.
Nourish your immune system constantly, as I was telling you. So in the morning when you wake up, you have to eat something which will clear your mind and which will fuel your day with energy. This is very fundamental. So this is breakfast which is nourishing all the tissues, creates great energy and vitality. At the same time, it nourishes immune system. So take this at the first thing in the morning: 10 almonds, 5 walnuts, 1 tablespoon of flax seeds, 10 pumpkin seeds, 5 to 10 leaves of spinach. You can take a little piece of celery, white pumpkin or lauki, which is cooling and also nourishing the brain and immune system. Half pomegranate seed, so fruit pomegranate, you just take half of it. Fresh turmeric or dry turmeric, a teaspoonful. And all of this you mix it and blend it with carrot and beetroot juice actually to make like a smoothie. I don't recommend milk actually to mix with this because there are fruits and everything, so it is a wrong combination.
Right.
That's why juice. And drink this in the morning as the first thing, and only then, if you are hungry, you have your breakfast with something which is more proteinous.
That's lovely.
So that kind of a breakfast, it nourishes. So I said, clean your body and keep it strong. So this will keep you strong every day. That's what is very important for our health and immunity.
All right. All right, so clean your body and use the utensils as well as Dr. Booch was explaining, the principles of cooking that Dr. Booch was explaining. Incorporate that, the recipes and the ancient Ayurvedic secret recipes that Dr. Smita Naram has told us. All of this should help your body absorb whatever supplements also you're taking, because your digestion will clear off. You will keep better health. You are what you eat after all. I thank you very much, Dr. Booch and Dr. Naram, for joining us on this special show on Ayurvedic cooking. Thank you so much.